Now from Hollywood, California, the horror capital of the world, the Boulet Brothers, creatures of the night.
Welcome, everyone, to a brand new episode of the Boulet Brothers Creatures of the Night. As always, we are your queens of darkness and the hosts of this podcast and the Boulet Brothers Dragula, the Boulet Brothers themselves, Mortem,
and Swanthula.
And it's time to dig into this episode of the Boulet Brothers Dragula Titan Season 2. It is our Last Supper reunion, episode 9.
Post-mortem.
What do we want to talk about before we get into this?
Let's kind of pan back to the 30,000 foot view of this season as a whole.
Okay.
It feels like we filmed this a million years ago, and we actually did not. But it was, the middle of this year, which is kind of crazy. And this season gave us so much across the board. There's only a certain number of boxes you can check when it comes to reality television and entertainment and drag TV. And I think this season literally checked off all of the boxes.
I don't know if it checked off all of the boxes, but it definitely checked off a lot of them. And I just want to say, seasons like this do not come around often for any show, for any reality show. They just don't. There's shows that you love, but then there's that season that you're like, wow, that was incredible. And I think this season of Titans is that version of our show.
She's that girl.
I think it's the best season of the show.
I kind of agree with you.
I really do. It just, the formula was right. The personalities were right. The challenges were right. We put everything we had into it, and I'm super happy with how it's turned out.
Yeah, and the fans are totally going insane, which we know that means we're doing a good job.
You know how I know I'm doing a good job? Because I don't even know what the fans think. I don't know, haven't heard, not looking, not going to. I'm going to be on my TikTok, on my fake account, looking at Highland cows and restoring Victorian homes, because I learn a lot from that. And
also those epic fails.
Lots of fails.
Those are really fun.
Lots of fails. Yeah. So I really don't know what they think. Although, you know what's weird? Sometimes Dragula stuff pops up on my feed and my fake account, and I'm always like, not interested.
Please don't show me this.
Do not show me this.
That's funny.
Yeah. So I don't know what the fans think, but I do know the engagement is super high, and no one's been canceled this year, so that's great. I don't even know. Does that even happen anymore? But
I don't know.
I don't either.
I think it has to be egregious. You really have to cross the line. And we've suffered through the period where if you made one minor mistake, you could potentially have your entire career and identity go up in flames.
I mean, I am of the mind that how do you attack people for nuance, right? When you have a literal racist president and a cabinet of buffoons who are xenophobic, transphobic. I mean, it's like every phobic you could be, and they're not hiding it. They're like, hi, I'm right here.
I know.
So I hope everyone's spending their time attacking those people.
Seriously, please attack the real enemy.
Yeah, but I think the season is great. As always, there are characters that the fans love, and there's characters that the fans love to hate, and then there's characters that they just hate. Unfortunately, that's
all the boxes.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Maybe you're right. Now that I've talked it through, you're right.
Thank you. Because I was about to be like, bitch, then what box didn't it check? But I didn't go there. I kind of want to say this too. I want to put this out into the universe. If you think drama is something new to this show, what you need to do is go back and watch the earlier seasons. There was drama on season 1. There was mega drama on seasons 2 and 3 and 4. I mean, it's actually a minority of seasons that have low drama. Most seasons, 80-90% of them have a serious amount of drama. And this is part of the equation of what we build. It's real because that kind of static happens for real.
Yeah, I mean, season 5 is the only season I can think of that didn't have any drama, because every other one had a lot. And season 1 as short as it was and as quickly as we filmed it, it was messy as hell. They were online, like the cast. I don't even want to get into it. Some of the nastiest stuff that's ever been said from any cast member was said from the cast members of season 1 to each other.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know where people get that from either. But, there are definitely fans of the show that just like to see the art and the competitors and the cast. And that's great. But unfortunately, human beings are vicious in their appetites, and they want to see people do the stuff that they don't want to do in their real life. And that is attack each other, fight, air their grievances, and speak openly.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not into this revisionist history. That's why I pointed out. I'm like, this is a show that you've allegedly loved for years. Go back and watch the earlier seasons because there's drama.
Watch Craftopia. I'm sorry, you can't. It's not on the air.
Exactly.
Because it's fucking boring.
I mean, this arts and crafts show in the queer world that people are wishing for, I'm like, it doesn't exist, and it doesn't exist for a reason.
Yeah, I think a show like that could exist. There's like a glass blower show on Netflix that's like their most popular show or something, and it has to be the most boring show on earth, but I think it's soothing to some people. But this is not that show.
Right.
If I could have an accidental success with a reality show that had no drama, I would be right there. Like, fans, listen to me clear now. That's the show I would pick.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot less headache for me.
And you need that kind of entertainment sometimes in your life, like especially if you live like a fast lane life or there's a lot of things going on in your life. You need that kind of side distraction that kind of brings you to a zen place where you're not thinking and you're not, problem solving, because you're doing that in spades in your real life.
It's interesting. It makes me think about us as public characters, and I really don't think of us as drag artists in a way. I almost feel like we're more like horror characters because, we have a very particular look. We're more like a comic book character or something. Yeah. And I think about what is the difference, right? Because sometimes I feel very alien from other drag artists.
Me too.
And I think there's a lot of reasons for it. But one of the things is I am an introvert. I am not an extrovert. I am not someone that wants attention. I don't want fans looking at me, talking to me. I don't want anyone looking at me when I'm out during the day, not in drag. It's different because I think a lot of people, their ego drives them for attention, that are attracted to like, let me get on stage, mom, and all that. That is not me.
That's me.
But you know what I mean? Like, neither one of us sort of crave that.
I don't
recognition.
need that.
Yeah.
I don't need it. Even though, like, in so many ways, you and I are like reciprocal opposites. Like, but I respect that about you and our relationship. It's nice to not have someone competing for attention or too loud mouths. Like, I got that base covered. It's nice because we're very much complement yin yang.
Well, I also think too, when you're good at something, I'm like, please go do it. Oh my God, yes, you're going to do it better than me, and you can take that off my plate. Get it.
I feel exactly the same way.
I'm like,
really
you can dance this song, The House Down. I'm going to be in the back having a drink. You go out there and get it. I'm right here, girl. I'm cheering you on from the sidelines.
Here comes the hurricane, bitch. Pow!
Yeah, I don't know. It just made me think about the type of character or characters that are attracted to being on a show like this.
Yeah.
And what the ultimate motivation is. I think about that stuff all the time.
Yeah, I don't, but the thoughts coming to my mind right now, and I'm like, I think there would have been a time in my life where I would absolutely have loved to go on like a reality competition show.
Yeah.
I don't know. I may be beyond that now.
Well, I'm sure you are now.
Well, actually, there is one exception, though, because if the Traders called me, I'd say yes.
Yeah, but that's less of a I guess it's more of a game than a competition, right?
Yeah, and maybe that distinction's like worth pointing out.
You
too.
would
yeah,
win.
It's different. It's
different.
different.
You would win.
You think so?
Absolutely.
I do. I love the champs.
Yeah.
It's too fun. Think about that. You need everyone to kind of just picture me, Swanthula's gorgeous little face, on the next poster of Traders. Let's put it out in the universe and manifest that. We're going to take a break. Think about it. Think about me. Think about Traders. And we'll be right back. All right, my darlings, we have returned, and as Drac pointed out during the break, she was on a roll, so I'm just going to let her jump right back in.
Well, we should talk. Okay, I wanted to finish my thought about the type of people that get attracted to reality shows because they're not all the same. I think you see very different people. Like Eva, for example, I think is not the same as JK, right? Like everyone gets attracted to it for a different reason. I don't know. I just kind of think it's fascinating because I don't know that I would want to do that. Yeah. And I'm, the producer of a show like that, but I'm like, I don't want that kind of attention.
Yeah, it comes with a lot. I mean, and I see it every season, and I'm seeing it now, where competitors that are on the current season are really feeling all of the good and all of the bad that comes with being in the public eye in any way.
Yeah.
It's like your shit is literally out there for everybody to perforate and shred.
Yeah.
Or celebrate. But human nature tells me people are into like sharing their negative opinions way more than they are about like lapping compliments on people.
They just need to stay off of those platforms because the truth is like Twitter, for example, right? Twitter is rancid. Like to anyone that's on Twitter ever, please quit. It's not
a fucking
good for you.
Dumpster of it is filled and overflowing with garbage juice.
But
like
the
just
truth
don't even
is,
look
and
at
it's
it.
for it's not just for our show. It's for every reality show. It's for it attracts the 1% of the most hostile, unhappy people on earth. Like Twitter maybe makes up less than 1% of the fan base of our show, and I'm sure other shows too. It's like just stay off of it. It doesn't do anything for you.
It really doesn't matter.
No, and that's the one thing I would say. If I could snap something and change something just about our show or the cast to protect them from that. I wish I could do that. But you know what? That's not the world we live in. It happens to anybody that goes on any show like this.
It's true.
So yeah, I mean, that was kind of it. I mean, I guess let's talk a little bit about the reunion. I don't think there's a lot to recap because we just watched it all.
Yeah.
I would like to say, I think I could have done a better job as the host of the reunion. It's weird being there in it feels very different than watching it.
Yeah.
And like with Sigourney, I wished I had asked Sigourney, did you say these things? Like, here's the list of things. And I think they were queued up somewhere. But after her and Eva got into that net, I just was like, I'm not going to hit her with that. Like, I just felt like maybe it had already been covered, but then rewatching it, I'm like, it wasn't covered. Like, it should have been asked,
I agree with you. But there is something about being there and then watching it. Like, while we're there, like for me, I'm that going back to that thing where it's like, oh my God, you're better at this. Like, please do it. In reference to our relationship, hosting the reunion is that for me to you. Like I look at you as someone who can have their mind on the whole, like the big picture, where I get like lost in the minutia when the emotions spike, like I'm spiking, or when things are getting ugly, like I'm trying to figure out how to maybe put a blanket on the fire and just sort of navigate us out of the negativity, just guide it like in the moment. But then I lose sight of like the big picture.
It's easy to do. There was, 12 people in the room with their own stories to tell. And you kind of want everybody there to say something about their experience because the fans want to know. I'm sure the fans like Disaster Arena. I didn't realize what was really going on with her until after the fact, right? So the reunion had already happened by the time I looked back retrospectively and said, she kind of gave up at the Hellbound Showdown. I wish I had asked her that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's so much flying around our world, like literally on a daily basis. It's hard to remember all that shit in the moment.
It is. And I do think, we filmed the reunion not months after the fact, after like a lot of times, like Housewives, they watch the whole season, they experience it, they experience the backlash, and then they bring everybody back the last week and film it and edit it and put it out real quick. But
I kind of love that.
I love that too, but that's beyond our capabilities at this point. It could be something we could do in the future.
Maybe.
I think their perspectives would be very different because that was the problem with this reunion. I couldn't ask some of the hard questions because the cast they didn't know all the stuff that they had said and done to each other. Like they didn't know all the stuff that got exposed. And I think had they seen that before the reunion, they would have had different attitudes and different questions for each other.
I agree. And I also think no other episode more than the reunion episode makes me feel like we're doing reality television, because I'm so programmed with Andy Cohen and the Housewives and that whole arrangement at the couches and the table and like let's spill the tea on everything. So like when we do that, I'm like, okay, it's real. Like this is it.
I mean, that's the format for any Bad Girls Club, like any reunion shows. There's the traitors, right? There's the host, and there's all the people sitting to the left and the right, and it's the format, you know.
Yeah.
I usually don't like it because it's just uncomfortable to sit there in the silence through the emotional unpacking, you know. And it's also a little bit of a opportunity for the cast to rewrite their wrongs in their minds. So if they seem chummy and friendly and, you know, they don't always talk about what I think they should talk about.
I see what you're saying.
You know, they want to be like, well, this is my last chance for the season, so I'm going to be like a nicey cutie. And I'm like, okay, well, doesn't really explain why you did X, Y, or Z during the season, but yeah.
And I think we were lacking a lot of that in this episode for this season. You know, we didn't get to hear the voices of two competitors that had been disqualified. That was tough because those were amazing personalities that I think would have just set off fireworks on this stage.
I kind of realized last night, actually thinking about that, had they been included, I think this could have been the first 2-part reunion we have ever done.
Yeah.
Because
we could have brought them out in waves too,
yes,
because there were so many people.
Yeah, I've seen that happen before too.
Some things I do love are maybe my favorite moment in the reunion. I do love when people can rehash some of their differences or some of their dramas that happened during the season and just sort of like see how they feel now about it and maybe get somewhere. Where I think in the moment, sometimes it's so hot, you just can't get anywhere. And I'm talking about Blackberry and Cynthia. And Blackberry goes, so you are holding me. You said you were going to make my life a living hell. You existed to make my life a living hell. Cynthia, yes. And you did that because I wasn't keeping a promise that I wasn't even aware of. Right. It's crazy. It's just crazy town stuff, but it's so fun and funny. But I like to see them able to talk about it and getting somewhere and getting it out in the open. And I wish we had more of that. I think that there are certain characters at this reunion that didn't take the opportunity given to speak their perspective and let people maybe understand it a little better.
Yeah, there's a weird privilege, though, to people sharing their stuff. And what I mean is Cynthia shared that interaction with Blackberry. And if you look at it from outside, you're like, she didn't do anything to you. Why are you mad at her? That's what was being said, right? And she was like, yeah, right. I am mad at you for that. And that's okay, right? I can think of 2 other characters on a previous season. That person who sat in Cynthia's role would have been roasted because they're not a fan favorite. You know what I mean? And there is a privilege to, if the fans really love you, you can do whatever you want.
It's true.
And if they don't like you or your face is a little too sharp or they just don't think you're attractive or something, you're the devil.
Yeah.
And everything, you know what I mean?
Look,
it's weird.
Weird. You can call it whatever you want, but it's real.
It is.
And you have to know yourself. I think that's the key to navigating any of these situations. Like, we all have different gifts and we all have different weaknesses. So if you know your gifts and you know your weaknesses, that's how you navigate your life to the best of your ability if you're a conscionable person. So when you're on reality TV and if you have the sharp nose or you're the fan favorite, like, you kind of know what's up.
Right.
You need to guide your ship by those stars.
You know what I mean? Like, sometimes people are a villain and you're like, it's probably weird for me to say, but it's true. I'm like, oh, you kind of look like a bitch. So you're the bitch. That's the story that's being written for you. And there's nothing you can do about it. And I think that's so foul.
Foul or not is usually my favorite character.
God. Anyway, so we should talk about the Hellbound Showdown.
Sure.
I don't understand it because I don't know why Sigourney stood there. I really don't understand. People were like, oh, the Boulets love Sigourney. It's either we hate her or we love her. There's no, like, people always say one or the other, right? And I'm like, it would be interesting for her to have won that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, in the scope of the story, the drama, like being the target and then cast out, like disintegrated, and then the return for the
story writes itself.
As producers, if we wanted to be those kind of producers, we would have shooed Sigourney into the finale for sure.
Of course. But we didn't because she just stood there.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was such a choice. I don't know if it was like to try to stand in your power, or I don't know. Because I've seen her performing around in clubs since then, and she's not standing still.
My only guess is maybe she thought it was like a stand in your power moment because she knows Cynthia can move and she knows Jaharia can really move. So instead of maybe trying to compete in that arena, she's like, I'm just going to take center stage. I don't know. Like, I'm just grasping at straws here, but it's the only thing that I can think of because Sigourney is a good performer.
Yeah. What ultimately led you to choose Jaharia as the winner?
I think it's a combination of what she did in the lip sync of Time to Die in the Hellbound Showdown. I mean, my eye kept going there. She looked like she was having fun eating up the stage, and what she did that season.
So track record does matter.
Yeah, and I never said it didn't, but I will pick and choose. I will fucking cherry pick when it matters to me. I am that bitch. And when I think back at the very end, you know, could I have made an argument for Sigourney? Absolutely. As far as drama and story production, she would have been the number one choice.
But fairness, no.
Could I have made an argument for Cynthia? The same in being a fan favorite, being sort of like the kooky voice of the season, and then also not having won a challenge, and that being such a kind of a backbone to her story, but the challenge that she wins is the one that means the most, that gets her into the finale. Also very poetic and powerful. But Jaharia's journey is undeniable. Mm-hmm. Like, she came out swinging the Monsters of Rock. She was excellent. She was amazing in the first episode too. That spider, like, she was in the top. Very cute. Great lip sync. Great performer. Yes, she messed up royally at the beach party. We went through that, but she came back and showed us like what a star she is in that musical. Mm-hmm. You know, so maybe it was a little bit of a rocky road, but I kept seeing these glimpses of like amazing light that I want to see more of.
That final 6 group of competitors are so talented.
I know.
They are so talented. Like, everyone that participated in that musical just won me over for life, because I know how difficult that was to do, and they did it, and I have tons of respect for them, and I wish I could take all of them on tour.
Too.
That's my hope and dream, is that I wish we could do that, because if they could perform that every night on tour, I think people would love it. I would love it.
I don't even know if that place exists, because no one really does it anymore. Like, where we could just take the cast on tour. It is the whole cast on tour.
People ask a lot, like, why don't you come to this theater? Why don't you? I have to tell you, it is not up to us at all. We are not tour promoters. We don't run the tour. We don't own the tour. A tour company comes to us, gives us an offer. They're in control of the routing. They're in control of that. Of course, we can say, I don't want to go here, or I do want to do here.
Please put the routing this way.
And they'll respect it. But, you know, you can't say, well, hey, I want to go to Denver because the fans really want us to go there. And they're like, well, I don't know how to get us there because it's not on the route to anywhere else. However, I would like to announce to everyone.
I'm delighted
to tell you that we will be coming to Denver on the next tour.
Yes. And that is absolutely by request, specifically from me. And I can't wait till I get into in front of the Denver crowd, because I'm going to spill the tea. I'm going to tell the truth about why we had to cancel those years ago.
Yeah, they think we hate them.
They think
they
that,
don't know what happened.
Or like, I don't know, somehow we're unprofessional, or we just don't give a fuck, and we're you know, I don't feel like it, so I'm just like canceling gigs. I can't stand canceling gigs.
Me neither.
It goes against the grain, and I can't stand doing that, because I don't like to be a disappointment, and I don't like to be unprofessional.
Yeah.
But there were things during that period that were unavoidable, and I'll explain it when we take the Titans 2 tour to Denver.
I think we should talk about it on the podcast, because it's crazy. I think people would have a very different idea of things that were happening during that time. But, you know, we can talk about it another time, I think. Sure. As far as me with Jaharia, since she didn't ask, I'm just going to volunteer it up.
Okay. You're the big picture girl. Go ahead. Got us back on track.
Big picture / consider it. You don't want to know my favorite mutant? I see. Okay. Got it. Noted. Track record did matter to me. Now, I will say Jaharia was like 2% like 2% off from winning to the Hellbound Showdown to me. That was the tie right there. Sigourney did not win to me, as much as I think that would be fantastic. And as much as I love Sigourney, because I do love Sigourney on the show, and I love just her whole character and what she brings to the franchise. But she didn't win, and she probably would say that herself. But Jaharia, to me, the journey's so interesting. The growth means something, I think, to the show. It's cool to show the audience and other people that have been on the show that you can perform at this level on one season and not get super far. And then, be in the finale of Titans, not just the finale of a regular season, the finale of Titans. I mean, that to me is impressive. I think she has a good heart. I think she's fun loving. She's an incredible performer that I would love to see on tour. And I could say, honestly, I could say all those things about Cynthia too. I love Cynthia.
Yeah,
hi, Cynthia was the exorcister on the show.
Totally. We love her.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to listener questions. But before we do, I'm going to say this. I want to congratulate Eva Destruction, Abora, Jaharia, and JK for making it this far, for giving us a kick-ass season, both with sharing their personalities, sharing their art, their progression, their stories, and their drag. And y'all, I know that you field a lot of stuff. All kinds of energy has been getting sent your way over the past couple of months.
You mean the
cast?
The
cast, yeah, since the show has been coming out. But push all those clouds aside for this minute and hear my voice. You should be fucking proud of yourself. Be so happy that you've taken it this far, and look at how many people you've touched. There are people out there, they might not be voicing it, and you're seeing a lot of negativity. You have touched their lives. They see themselves in you, and you have inspired a lot of people, and that means a lot.
All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and answer a lot of listener questions because we have a lot there.
All right, my darlings, we have returned, and it's time to reach into our big, heavy bag of listener mail. Drac, will you do the honors?
Alyssa from London asks, maybe there's two questions. What did you think about the new Frankenstein movie and Guillermo del Toro's films in general? His Saturn from the Labyrinth still gives me shivers.
I think they might mean Satyr, but that's okay.
It
does say Saturn. Okay,
like, what is that?
First of all, I'm going to say this. I love, with a capital Love, Guillermo del Toro's vision, his aesthetic, his direction. Like, I love his movies. In fact, Pan's Labyrinth, not Saturn, Pan's Labyrinth is probably one of my favorite movies, period. I love that movie. I love The Devil's Backbone. I even enjoyed Crimson Peak. Like, I love the way they look, but Frankenstein was boring. Like, I thought it was gorgeous. Love the actors, Mia Goth. Like, I thought it was visually just arresting, which is what I expected, but I felt like it was a little boring.
I thought it was boring. I think that Dr. Frankenstein's characterization was extremely annoying. I was like, please shut up. This guy is too manic for me. I don't like it. And it was overly dramatic and just a weird delivery. I don't know. I also thought that Jacob, what a lordy, I don't know if I'm saying it right.
You are.
Him as Frankenstein was, look, he's too hot. Like, it's like they needed to make him ugly or give him a hunch or something, right? Like, I'm like, so what? It's the guy from Euphoria as a monster. Like, that's hot, Like, I don't know. I and also just to nitpick it a little bit, I didn't like how the, because Frankenstein's put together from different body parts and they're sewed together or whatever. I didn't like how the skin looked healed in the wounds before he got brought back to life. It makes absolutely no sense because it should have just been real gory because the cells wouldn't have had time to reattach or anything. And I was like, that looks weird. It looks like you just drew a line on his arm. I don't know. That's it. But of course his work is visionary. Who the hell am I? But you asked my opinion and there it is.
Kristen in Dallas writes, I have a question about the star of the Titans 2 season, whom I have been calling Rug. I love that. Can you confirm that my closed captions were correct? Is Rug's name Adris? While I'm sad he doesn't enjoy a Golden Girls marathon, I hope our darling Rug returns in future seasons of Dragula. This Fleabag is a delight. I don't know where they got this Adris name from.
Did someone else say it? I've never heard it.
I saw this somewhere online that they were trying to figure out the name of Rug, and I guess in the captions it says Adris and then his lines. So, but I don't know where that comes from, and that is not the Rug's name.
Her name is Rug, period.
And I think you can plan on seeing Rug and maybe some additional cast members in the future.
She is to remain on the floor as her permanent life punishment for all eternity without a name.
Under our feet.
Kayla from North Carolina asks, I was curious after watching the reunion episode, how do you two feel about Sigourney's behavior when her extermination was brought up? I don't remember her. Did she freak out or something? I don't remember.
Honestly, I don't either.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like
I give everybody a pass, especially when it comes to their extermination. Like we've talked about this before on this season of the podcast. It spikes up energy. It spikes up emotion. Like they put a lot on the line, and filming this show is difficult on so many levels. So if they're freaking out, like I give them free passes.
No, I think so too. I don't know. I wonder how Sigourney thinks about the situation after the reunion, after watching everything. I wonder if she thinks maybe she had any liability in it. She probably also feels weird because it was, I wouldn't say it's a gang up, but it definitely was like multiple people coming at her with questions and hostility.
Yeah. I think there's something worth pointing out here, right? Like Sigourney being a cisgendered woman, an AFAB performer on a drag show is unique.
Right.
I mean, it might not be now. I think there are maybe one or two more out there in the world. But at the time when she was cast on season 4, it hadn't been done before. We obviously elevated and celebrated her as an artist that had nothing to do with her gender. When it comes to criticisms about her personality, it seems like half the fan base just writes them off as like, this is misogyny. This has no feet based in planted in reality because she's a woman and that's all they see and hear. But when you have 3 or 4 people in the room saying like, hey, you kind of came across this way, when you mention these kind of things, it felt like you were wielding this as a threat. And then Sigourney replies with, well, why is it special for me when I talk like this, and when everyone else does it, it's fine? And I'm going to say that's not true. That is not the case, because, and people pointed it out on the reunion, and I just want to say it again. People called out other people on the show. Like Dahlia got called out left and right by multiple people, and it was kind of in her version of the same thing that Sigourney was experiencing. Like, hey, your behavior is making me feel a certain way and I'm calling you out. And Jade called her out, and Priscilla called her out, and Cynthia called her out. So it wasn't just Sigourney getting called out.
No, I hear that, but it's interesting. There is something to that, because if you were, kind of like cunty fierce drag queen, male presenting who does drag, and you're saying snipey things at people, or, I could see some people being like, oh, they're just fierce. Oh, I like that. Whereas, Sigourney doing it, it's like, well, why is it okay, maybe she's a bitch, but why is it such a big deal? Like, there's a lot of people on the show that are bitches or assholes, and I'm not saying she is. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, for example, like, there is a little bit of a difference. So it's a catch-22, because what you're saying is also true. You want everyone to be treated evenly and to be caught out evenly and to be judged evenly. It's difficult.
Nova from New York writes, as a longtime fan of the show who has seen every episode almost 8 times, this recent episode was one of the best and most exciting reunion episodes in the whole series. At the end, when you announced that Jaharia had won the Hellbound Showdown, I had to get up off and start applauding, snapping, cheering, screaming, and doing all that gay bar stuff in my own living room. Would you consider adding something like this to future reunions to up the stakes and to maybe get rid of the extermination-less reunions like seasons 4 and 5?
It's definitely tempting because it makes the reunion more exciting. I feel like, we did a lot of special things for Titans. It's its own show and its own beast that I think is now starting to solidify its own rules, right? Like, the way we did things were successful, I feel like a lot of those things will stay with another season of Titans potentially. I'm less apt to mess with the formula of the Boulet Brothers Dragula because people like it for what it is, and we found that they don't like it very often when we stray from the expected course. Haley asks, "Hi, this is a random question, but can you please bring Sigourney back?" I can't believe they put that in there, but okay. Yeah, sure. I mean, if she wants to, I would love to see her come back for a future season and kill it. I mean, maybe she'd come back with a different attitude. You know, obviously we can see people coming back for multiple seasons sometimes works out in their favor. So I would, of course, be interested.
I don't know. Can you please bring Sigourney back? Probably. Lauren from Edinburgh writes, I saw you both when you came to Glasgow back in 2017, as well as every tour since. Well, thank you. I want to know if and when you will be doing a season 6 or Titans 2 tour in the UK, especially Scotland. Well, Laura, again, we don't control those things, but I am pushing the touring company to bring the Titans 2 tour there, hopefully at some point before the end of the summer. And if we come, Edinburgh and Glasgow, I mean, these are like, Scotland is probably my favorite country I've ever visited. Like, I think it's gorgeous. I love the people. Like, I just love being there. And yeah, so the answer would be an absolute yes once we get the green light on the UK leg of the tour.
Marlo from Ohio asks, I was watching The Last Supper and how everyone teamed up on Sigourney. Okay. And although I didn't fully agree with everything she said, the cast was able to anonymously ask if she ever made friends and then calling her names like cold and a witch, which is very common for men to do when a woman says something they don't like. Do you feel like Dragula is truly ready for an AFAB queen? I don't mean you two, but the competitors. I don't know if it's ready. It has to happen. Right? There's no way. I mean, you have to force things to happen. You can't be like, you know what? It's the 60s. I'm not sure if we're ready for equal rights, everybody. Let's just back off of that. No, you do it. You put it out there. You let the conflicts happen. You let people work out their differences. It's a fight. You know, it's a fight for visibility. And it is interesting to have cis women mixed into a room full of what traditionally is predominantly gay men. But on our show, I don't find that to be the case. There's a lot of trans people. There's a lot of non-binary people. It's a really big mix of people. And I get how people identify with Sigourney or whoever it might be. You know, Jarvis, for example, was femme presenting out of drag and then was a drag, you know, and it's different. I'm not going to lie. The energy is definitely different. It's different. If you have a group of gay men who do drag that are used to performing in bars and you put them in a room and put a camera on them, you're going to get a very different thing than if you put drag kings in a room or, you know, it's just it is different, but that's what makes it exciting, I think. Is there misogyny in the world? Yes. Is there racism in the world? Yes. Is there transphobia in the world? Yes. Do those things bleed onto screens of reality TV? Absolutely, because the cast and the audience is a reflection of the society that we live in. So I'm kind of going on about this, but the truth is, yes, it is ready and it has to happen.
Greta from Brazil. Congratulations on an amazing Titan season.
Thank you.
The reunion was truly iconic piece of reality television. I can't wait for the finale. My question is regarding the choice of having Dahlia return to the reunion, but not Zava or Jade. It was my understanding that all three of them were disqualified. So what made her different?
She wasn't disqualified. Done.
Yeah, she participated in the Hellbound Showdown and
She wasn't disqualified.
Yeah, she wasn't disqualified.
Brianne asks, is the ghost that's behind you in your intro of the Last Supper episode inspired by Saint's ghost look? It is not. It's an antique blow mold that I had, but I do see the resemblance there. And I like that blow mold quite a bit. And I like Saint's look quite a bit.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, no, it wasn't. But hey, you know what? I think she should market them as merch.
It's cute. Jeremy from Toronto writes, I know that a lot has been said about how cast interactions with the crew have been taken into consideration during judgment, which I wholeheartedly agree with. Professionalism has to count for something. As opposed to digging for backstage drama, I wanted to ask if there are any monsters you'd be willing to name who were gracious, polite, and professional with the crew. Wow, I love this question. This is that whole thing, like, people just don't want to focus on the positive. People generally enjoy to focus on the negative.
Well, then let's try to correct that. Frankie is a gem to work with in every way. Obviously, they've been on multiple seasons of the show, and I think you got to see a little more of their personality at the reunion, which I love, because I'm like, that's the Frankie we love. That's the Frankie that keeps getting cast on stuff.
Exactly. Historically, I remember Dali being so gracious, respectful, not even in just the filming crew, but specifically the touring crew. And that really stands out for me. Blackberry is another one who I just think is so gracious and considerate. Who else stands out?
Cynthia is great. Cynthia is very great to work with, I think.
So is Priscilla, honestly.
Oh, Priscilla is a gem.
Fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to think about like season.
Landon is like, the professionalism is through the roof. The same with Vander.
Yeah, Neo is fantastic. I mean, these are all winners. I guess it does count for something, but it's not just winners that were pleasant to work with. Aurora was actually really pleasant to work with.
So was Pi.
Yeah.
Even though a little extra in the chatty department, but like Pi was really fun to be around.
Yeah, that was I'm trying to think. Jaharia is always pleasant to work with. God, there's a lot. There's honestly, it's more that are professional than not, I guess I would say.
Definitely.
Yeah. James from Minnesota asks, I remember you guys talking about how you filmed season 1 with the plans of refilming it. And my question is, if you did, was it possible there would be a different winner, or would you keep everything the same no matter how people did the second time around? Oh, if they didn't earn it, there'd be a different winner. But there wouldn't have been, because Vander, I don't think anybody could have stepped to Vander then. I just don't. What do you think?
It was a very magical moment in time. I think it was just kind of fire. It was perfect the way that it was. If we redid the season, like if we cast it today and brought them all back.
No, I'm saying if it was like, if instead of letting season 1, because season 1 was like, it was like a pilot, right? If someone had bought it and said, okay, redo season 1, we want the show, and we had to redo it, I would have put the same people on, but more. I would have added more people to it.
Sure.
But do you think it would have had a different winner?
Probably not. Although if you're talking about adding people to the cast, you never know.
Yeah.
Zarina from London writes, I've been married to my husband for 5 years now. We have a happy marriage and stronger than ever after a year of couples therapy to deepen our communication. What makes a successful partnership? How do you balance the need for novelty and excitement of a new relationship with commitment and love? I sometimes worry we lost our romantic spark and became more friendly, so I wanted to get your ideas.
Oh, it's like a relationship, a Dr. Love question.
Into it.
Okay, I guess I who knows, right? I'd have to know your particular situation. Your relationship can change over time, right? Like you can get a deeper closeness with each other. I do notice though that sometimes I think people reveal too much about themselves, and that's when people start to become more friends than lovers. It's great to be a friend with your lover, but there's a difference between a best friend and a partner. Right? And that's what I think anyways. And I think you always have to leave a little bit to the imagination. Like you don't need to show everybody every ugly thing about yourself or act like a pig or whatever. I mean, I'm sure it's
unless you're into that kind of thing.
Unless you're into it. But you know what I mean? I'm like look cute. Like try to, look cute, be enticing. You have to try. People don't just automatically, stay attracted to each other forever, and maybe you'll go through waves. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I agree with what you're saying, but I do want to challenge it in this way. Who would you consider your best friend?
Well, you.
Exactly. And I think that touches at the root of what my answer would be, which is each relationship is kind of unique. I think you're ahead of the curve already. If you're 5 years in, that's a respectable milestone in anybody's relationship in today's world. But going to therapy and worrying and focusing on your communication is kind of number one. Like, because then you can talk through any of your bullshit, and you might have bullshit like socially or sexually or with trust or whatever it might be, but you can work out what works for the two of you as long as you can communicate about it. And it doesn't have to be what everybody else does. Like, that's what I think is like key, because these, standards of relationships and everyone's judgment that they put on it, that shit is old. It's antiquated.
So bad.
It's so, it like, what do they say? Like, comparison is the thief of joy. Like, I think that applies to relationships too. Like, you got to do what makes you happy. And where we are today, I know so many adults with different types of relationships, and some of them are open and some of them are closed and some of them are weird and some of them are super traditional. You have to do what works for you.
Yeah. The whole, I think that really screwed a lot of people up, is the whole 1950s and 60s and even into the 80s, idea that, oh, this is a married couple and this is what they do, and they do this and they do that and they have kids and they do this, and if you don't have that, you're like, well, what the hell? Why don't I have that? I should be like that. Well, if my person doesn't act like that on my anniversary, then it's over. They hate me, and I'm like, you got to throw all that shit out the window. If you make each other happy, that's what's important. I would suggest keeping this in your mind. Their pleasure should be your main interest, and your pleasure should be their main interest. That's what I think as far as your attraction with each other. Put some effort there. If the spark doesn't reignite, you got a problem. That's what I think. Diego from Orlando asks, I was obsessed with the story you two co-wrote for the DC Horror Presents series last year. You mentioned previously that Wonder Woman is one of your favorite DC superheroes, so I'm sure it was a huge honor to write that story. It was. I'm wondering if either of you have been reading the new Absolute series from DC, specifically the Absolute Wonder Woman series. And I'll go first, even though Swan is desperate to get in before me, but she will not, because I read them first and I loved them and I made her read them and now she loves them.
I'm going to say this. I have been so turned off by the comic book world in general as a reader, like writing the stories that we wrote for DC and heavy metal and stuff like that. Like, that's a pleasure because it's us like kind of being creative. But reading comics has been so uninspiring for me for the past couple of years. Like, I've just been out of it. And I've tried here and there, the Nocturnals, Vampirella. Like, I just can't find anything that I'm like, oh my God, this is crap. But Drax's like, hey, you should read this Absolute Wonder Woman. I think you'd really be into it. And Drac knows me best. And I just read issue 13 last night, and there's only one more that got me current. It is so fucking good. I love the reimagining of her origin. Raised in Hell by Cersei is sort of like flipped on its head, and somehow they capture her kind of like socially alien, but also almost like superior personality, more than I think most other Wonder Woman titles do. Like, I think she's just characterized so perfectly.
Yeah, honestly, she's okay. The story, her origins and everything were so weird. And when I first heard it about it, I'm like, oh God, this is going to be some edgelord bullshit. She's from hell and she has and I was like, great, this is going to be so bad. And it's not. Like, somehow her personality and character is more aligned with what I think of Wonder Woman than her main book is right now. Like, the main book Tom King's writing with that whole mouse thing, I'm like, this is garbage. Like, I hate it. And I hate Trinity too.
I think the writer of the Absolute Wonder Woman maybe has the best grasp of Wonder Woman's character.
I think so too. Yeah.
Federico from Buenos Aires writes, if each of you had developed your own individual drag persona outside of the Boulets aesthetic, what do you imagine your personal look or vibe would be? I
mean, I don't imagine it to look or be anything, because I would not do it. If I had, no, seriously, I would not be a drag artist. 100% would not be.
But if you were, what
I don't know. Honestly, at this point, nothing. I wouldn't. I mean, maybe I would like, I don't know. Maybe, I'd probably sing. I wouldn't lip sync.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'd be some kind of like, I don't know, lounge singer theater. I could see me doing theater and stuff like that in drag, but like nothing. I'm not going to be like Polyflop or whatever the hell stupid fucking names people get. Like it wouldn't happen. What about you?
Polyflop's gonna stick with me. I'm gonna say something. I mean, as far as like the aesthetic, it's not too different from what we do now because like it's gonna be dark and it's gonna be weird.
Right.
It's gonna be somewhere. What popped to mind was like somewhere between Catwoman, Bellatrix Lestrange, a dancer, and someone who's like messy, like bloody nose, wounds, like witch hair, like kind of slutty but kind of psycho.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah, that'd be it.
So like that's you if I'm not around. So what's different?
The wig.
Oh my God. All right. Lita from New Mexico asks, I couldn't help but notice in the last episode of the pod, Drac mentioned Swan was the Shauna of the group, which I assume was in reference to Yellow Jackets. I am absolutely obsessed with Yellow Jackets and was wondering who was each of your favorite Yellow Jackets and your thoughts on the last season. Oh, who was each of your favorite Yellow Jackets and what are our thoughts on the last season?
Yeah.
Didn't we review it on the podcast? Maybe this is someone that started listening later.
Could be, yeah. We talked a lot about Yellow Jackets because as it's airing, we become obsessed.
Yeah.
Like it's
Jackie's
so good.
my favorite character, period, forever. I don't even know if I like any of the other ones that much.
God, I'm going to space their names now. Who's the little crazy one that Christina Ricci plays?
Oh, why am I forgetting her name? Yeah, you mean as an adult or as a
adult?
kid?
As an adult, she's my favorite.
Oh, okay. Misty.
Yeah, Misty's my favorite as an adult. And as a kid, I love Lottie. I think Lottie's character, it made me nervous. I liked her, like, kind of like, is it mental illness? Is it supernatural sensitivity? Like, yeah, really into them both.
I hate Shauna in all her forms.
And it's weird that you
young.
called me the Shauna.
I don't hate. No, what I mean, you don't have the Shauna's fucking annoying, and you don't have those personality traits. The part of you that is Shauna is the part that you would be the one to chop up everybody, and just it wouldn't bother you, and you'd be like, it's fine. That's that's the part that I think you're most Shauna like, not in her annoying things, because you wouldn't. The other stuff you wouldn't do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear that though? Chop you bitches up.
It's true. I know you would.
It kind of is.
You're
true.
the person that's like, we're trapped on an island. That person coughed and we wouldn't talk about it. You'd just kill them instantly right there. And then I'd be like, damn, that was harsh. But you know what? That's how you got to be to survive. I mean, they're in the woods.
Yeah. Like sometimes I fantasize about that kind of like Lord of the Flies situation.
Well, you do?
A little bit. Because I'm like, God, the rules of society have gotten so complicated and annoying. Yeah. But when you boil it down to survival, you have a value of the group or you do not.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I kind of like that simplicity, that cutthroat simplicity.
I do too. But like, I think about like in that situation, right? Like taking care of the old person in the group.
That's different. That's different. Even though like when it comes to like Darwinism and survival of the fittest, like, you know, the elderly would they die off because they can't survive as well as everybody else. We are still human. And that's so I think our humanity is to protect the weak and the old and the young. But when it comes to like physically abled adults that can either you are a liability or you're an asset. Like that's kind of how I look at it.
What if it's somebody who pretends like they have all these problems and they're hurt so that they don't have to do anything? What do you do with them?
I mean, you would suss them out in 2 seconds.
I would.
And B, that would piss me off beyond measure. Like I couldn't even fucking deal with someone like that.
You know, I wouldn't let it go either. Once I figured out, me and you'd be in a cave and I'd be like, she's doing it.
I'm like,
she is not hurt. She's not hurt. Her. I'd be like, I'm telling you 100%. I know for a fact she is not hurt. Yeah. Kill her.
Yes.
And on that note, everybody, we will see you next week for the Boulet Brothers Dragula Titan Season 2 grand finale. I am excited about the finale.
Me too.
I can't wait for everybody to see it. We will be back here to discuss it next week. Don't at me. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Oh, something that Drac and I are considering, and I'm curious if the fans would.
They're like, hell no.
Give a shit to talk about it. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season is starting this week. The first episode is tomorrow, and we want to talk about it. Would you be interested in a recap from the Boulet Brothers? Let us know.
Now we could also, now you all can vote. We could recap that. If you want to pick another show you want us to recap and watch together, we could do that too. We could recap comic books even potentially. Like we can make it a little, horror pop culture.
Ooh.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
even The Housewives has nothing to do with horror. You know what? Jennifer Tilly's on it, so it's horror.
Yes.
That's
oh
it.
my God.
Anyways, let us know.
Bye.
Or lie to us so we can do it anyway. Bye.
The Boulet Brothers Creatures of the Night is hosted and produced by Mortem and Swantula Boulet, with music by Neuron Spector.